Hey, so every year me and my son paint our favourite theme of the year and make it into a Christmas card and a Christmas cup for hot chocolates on Christmas Eve. And this year, as you can see, we're all into cars, so we're going to be painting a bright green Christmas Lamborghini. I hope you enjoy watching the video. If you do, don't forget to like, subscribe and leave any comments.
We started off by stretching watercolour paper onto board so that when we're working with a lot of water, the paper doesn't buckle and wrinkle. We used a really thick brush and loaded it with lots of water, washing onto the background where the sky is, and then we picked up a tiny bit of blue paint and worked in from the corners, the outside corners, going in with the blue. To make soft clouds, we used a bit of kitchen roll and we just dabbed off some of the blue and the paint off of that background. For the mountains, we painted in blue upside down V shapes. We kept the outline of the mountains quite dark and then pulled the paint down to get paler towards the bottom. We did the same for the horizon line and then painted in skid marks in the snow from behind the Lamborghini. For the pine trees, we worked out diagonally so that the trees were taller at the edge of the picture and then get smaller towards the horizon line. We painted in green by just working with a vertical line to choose where the trees would go and then going left and right around them to make the V shapes. Using thick gouache, we dabbed snow on the trees. So starting off with a mix of yellow and green, mostly yellow, we painted in the bonnet of the Lamborghini. We added a little bit of green just for the side highlight on the right. Then we painted in the yellow-green for the rest of the top of the car. Where the background was quite wishy-washy, the paint was very watered down. The paint's a lot thicker for actually painting the car part. We want the colour to be flat here. Using a more greenish yellow, we picked out shadows along the bottom edge of the car, along the sides and around the wheel caps. We used a darker, more vibrant green for the bottom shadow of the Lamborghini. Next we started blocking in the lights, the side window, the wheels and the shadow under the car in solid black. Using black on here though really makes it pop. A lot of the picture is quite wishy-washy, it's all very white and blue because it's a snow scene. So the black really brings it to life a lot more. We switched to a marker pen quickly just to go around some of the outlines of where the black hits along the side of the car. It can be difficult to paint in a smooth line with paint versus using a pen, so just working around the edges neatened up the picture quite a lot. But once we'd painted in the black on the wheels, then we just used some light grey and a really thin brush just to put in some detail areas. And we used the light grey again to paint in the windscreen, leaving a gap for the rear view mirror. We switched to pencils for putting in some detail into the windscreen, and we used different shades of grey, and we made sure that there was some kind of transparency where it looks like you can see through into the side view mirror on the back side of the picture. We also used green pencil to add in more detailed shading because it's easier to do this with pencil than it is to do it with paint, and it creates a different texture on the picture. We're painting this picture as a Christmas tradition we have of painting a picture every year and making it into a Christmas cup. Here's some of our previous ones. Yoda, Stranger Things, Mario and our dog Moonlight. We darkened up the green that's in the middle of the wheel part, and then we started to use white pencil to go around the wheel again. We drew in some more solid lines with the coloured pencil so that everything would look a bit more stylised. It is a Lamborghini after all. Once we finished with the pencils, we switched to Promarkers again, just to flatten out some of the colour. So because watercolour paper can be a little bit bumpy, you can see this in the way that the pencil's drawn. So for some areas where you want the colour to be more flat, it's nice to go over and blend some Promarker in. And we used 3 different shades of green to do this, before we worked also with the greys. Then we used blacks and greys to go again around the front of the windscreen and some other sections by the lights. We weren't sure whether to do a snow cloud behind the Lamborghini to make it look like it was moving, so I tried doing a kind of dabble and then splatter effect on the back of my picture, but we both agreed it looked terrible, so I wiped it back off. We added in some final details onto the wheels before signing the picture in a nice lime green. And that was it.
So here it is, the finished green Christmas Lamborghinis. All that's left to do now is we need to scan them on the computer and add in Merry Christmas, which we put in digitally every year because it's kind of hard to make nice writing yourself. I'm not a calligrapher. We shop around most years to see who's doing the best deals for printing. Last year we used Vistaprint and we printed out Christmas cups and glossy Christmas cards. We also did a recent video on hot chocolate Christmas Eve cups that I'm putting them in every year. I hope you enjoyed watching the video, and if you did, don't forget to like, subscribe and leave any comments so that I can improve and make better content in the new year. Happy Christmas!